To check out LFOs now, starting again with an initialized patch, and I'll show you this later on when we look at creating patches, but also in a quick tip, just so you have an easy reference to it. But let's say we're using one of these different waveforms here, and we've got a few of the other sections turned on. If we want to get it back to a single oscillator playing a sawtooth, then we just go Menu and Initialize Preset. And you can initialize modulations and other things too. So keep your oscillators all the same, but just get rid of loads of complex modulation if you want to go in a different direction with it. So yeah, back to our single waveform. Let's take it down an octave. And let's choose a different waveform for this one. It's a pretty interesting sounding one. And now moving on to the LFOs then. Again, just like the envelopes, you can choose the one you want to view it and edit it down below by clicking on its tab, and use it to modulate a parameter by dragging it. So for example, let's use it to adjust the panning of oscillator A. So I just drag it to the panning dial. Right now it's going fully right and left. I can change that if I want to by clicking once again at the top here, the top corner, and then adjusting the range shown by the blue curve around the outside. You can totally manually adjust this LFO to be whatever shape you like. So at the moment, it's just this straight up triangle wave, but you could change it to maybe a sine wave. Going more smoothly up and down there. You could create an actual sine wave by creating points there and dragging them up and down like so. Again, clicking creates that breakpoint, which you can then set to wherever you want. And clicking on this one in the middle here sets the curve. So now I've created a sine wave shape here. And I could adjust the rate, which is set to synced values here. It goes incredibly fast at the upper range there, so you can even get some sort of FM style effects coming into play. One of the cool things about this section is you have a menu here that you can open to select one of lots of different options for classic kind of LFO shapes. So you can create your own sine instantly like that, downward sawtooth, back to a triangle wave, and then lots of interesting side chain shapes. So you can create kind of ducking effects. So if I get rid of this modulation on there, I could instead assign it to our level. There we're getting our ducking, but at the moment it's on a eighth note or quaver. So if I bring it down to a quarter note, so it's every beat. Then we can try out some of these different sidechain shapes. So whilst one LFO is being used to duck the level there with this sidechain preset, we could use another one to maybe modulate the filter. So let's turn that on. Let's maybe go for one of the multis and let's go for the low notch again. Let's bring the cutoff up for now. And then, yeah, use this frequency dial here to adjust the central notch frequency. And then I'll just drag the LFO to that one. To give us some really interesting movement in the center there. And I can try out different presets. Meanwhile, LFO3 could be used to adjust the low pass cutoff, so bring the highs in and out. Maybe I could set this up for the matrix though, so I'll go to the matrix, LFO3, and the filter cutoff, and I'll turn this right up. So the moment it's jumping right up and down, but what we might like to do for this one is to have it go very slowly. So let's change the speed, this time to a bar. And another thing you've got here is the trigger mode. At the moment it's set to off, so you can hear playing repeated notes like that means you catch this LFO at particular points in the cycle, so it doesn't always re-trigger. Now you might want that if you're creating a bass sequence with different notes. And when you play those different notes, the filter opens across each bar. If you have it set to trigger instead, then when I play those notes, regardless of where it is in the bar, it's always going to re-trigger, so you're never going to get those high frequencies coming in. So in those instances, you might want to have triggering turned off.